The University of Michigan is trying to find ways to tackle the issue of unruly frat brothers. And one way that they're thinking of doing it is by hiring live-in house directors. Now, what's interesting is the vast majority of sororities at the University of Michigan have had live-in directors, but fraternities do not. And one of the reasons why, at least one of the reasons why they claim that they don't have live-in directors is because frats tend to be a little smaller, at least they have less people within them, and so they don't have as much money to pay for a live-in director.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that. Seems like a cop-out, but I like the direction that these new policies are going toward, and I'll tell you why they're going toward these policies in a minute. Now, UM officials had a huge meeting last week with reps for over 30 Greek chapters on the school's Ann Arbor campus to discuss re-implementing house directors and frats to help deal with issues of hazing, drinking, and sexual misconduct. Administrators want to see more experienced adults involved in the day-to-day life of campus Greek organizations. The hope is that having those people around would help combat behavioral issues in Greek life, which sprang into full view this past year when UM frat members trashed a northern Michigan resort. Now, I remember talking about this on the show. They apparently caused nearly $500,000 or $430,000 in damage to one resort.
The pictures are unreal.
They are unreal. Let's take a quick look at them. So they caused damage to the hallways of this resort, and they also caused damage to up to 40 of the rooms.
How did they even do this?
I don't even know.
I mean, I want to say this is kind of like an Anchorman moment where I'm like, I'm just impressed. I mean, holy shit, how did they do that?
I'm not even mad.
I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed. I mean, I am mad. This is horrible.
Yeah.
This is, you know, someone else's property. But, you know, shit.
Well, I think this is the response to what the frat brothers did,
Yeah,
right?
This is a complete lack of regard.
So you either completely ban any type of Greek organization on campus, which is difficult to do, or you put in place certain safeguards to ensure that things like this don't happen in the future. And I think that's what they're trying to do. I just think it's hilarious that sororities, which usually cause way less damage, have had these live-in directors for a very long time, but the fraternities haven't. And apparently back in the 70s, the fraternities all had live-in directors. And then that just kind of phased out a little bit. And now they're finally having these meetings and they're realizing, okay, maybe we should have some adults that can kind of direct you guys in the right direction. It
might be a little bit of sexism in that fraternities are allowed to police themselves, but that the girls, you know, need someone to watch over them. You know, I was in a sorority at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I was in Alpha Delta Pi. And we had a house mom named Yaya who was, you know, I lived there for one semester. It was a great deal. A lot of estrogen, not going to lie. Very intense experience.
I don't know if that sounds fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, like I said, it was an experience. It's something that I can add to my bag of tricks in terms of, you know, what living situations I've endured. But I think it was wonderful to have her as a presence in the house, you know, and college-age kids are certainly not full-time adults, and they could use that kind of, I think, just like a checks and balances, voice of reason, someone to sort of mitigate in-house spats and conflict. When it comes to fraternities, for sure they could benefit from this. I mean, the Greek system and Greek life has been under assault for good reason, and like with just tons, it's just a complete PR disaster, I think, the last few years, the kind of stories we're hearing. A lot of it has to do with white privilege, I think, you know, and the entitlement that some of the people in this community feel in terms of property and how they treat other people, and specifically the sort of, I think there can be this insidious undercurrent of racism and sexism, and I mean, and obviously rape has been associated with some of these fraternities. So all of that is horrible and needs to be dealt with in a very serious way.
Right.
Then I think this is one possible solution among many to help, you know, improve the situation. Because listen, they've got to evolve. This is not Animal House. It will not stand. You can't keep doing that shit. That's not how we roll. It's
a tame version of policing these organizations. And I think it makes sense. I think it's crazy that they haven't implemented this in the last few decades. It's crazy.
Get some like badass older women in there. Yeah. Or, I mean, men, whatever. I don't know how, because we obviously
just adults, people who can make the right decisions when it comes to
help
certain
them.
situations, right? Someone who will be there when they're partying in some sort of resort and basically stop them from ripping the ceiling off of the building. I mean, look at those pictures again. They ripped the ceiling from this building.
It looks like,
how do you do that?
It literally looks like a herd of dinosaurs ran up and down, like just like velociraptors and just rubble, or what is this, there was an earthquake? It's horrific.
They just destroyed it.
But I also feel like this is an opportunity to inject some diversity into the Greek life as well, because I think it would be important and an interesting dynamic to have people of other races, because a lot of these organizations, a lot of these fraternities and sororities are majority white. Yeah. And I think they could really use some diversity in there.